reading the book. Anyone knows what are the 4 questions? Anyone? We have covered. What are the 4 questions? Yes, Avni?
I think the first one is, what is my purpose? The second one is, how may I be of service?
Okay, good.
Oh,
We can give everyone a chance. Yes, Ansh. So, what's the purpose and how may I be of service? Third one, Ansh. Third one.
I
Ansh,
remember the fourth one is where am I investing my right now?
yeah, where am I investing my attention right now? Okay, third one, who remembers? What's the lesson? So, that specifically, now we are diving deeper into the first question. What is my purpose, right? And we discuss the cat story. We discuss that humans must ask in order to be happy, right? And be a sadhu, not just do blind rituals like the cat story, right? You all remember? So we'll start reading from this page 40 for those who have the physical book or the ebook. I'm going to share my screen, but let's offer some prayers before we get into the reading. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyata Deshatarini Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tadbhaktaya Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. Thank you again, everyone, for joining. So we are reading the section from chapter 1. Chapter 1 is basically the question 1 for what is my purpose? And in that, we're going to read why do we exist? So, Avni, you want to start?
purpose is the reason for which something exists. Everything, even a tiny screw, exists for a reason. Lying on the street, the screw is insignificant. If you were to pick it up and try to sell it, you wouldn't get a penny. But when that tiny screw is connected to the machine in which it belongs, it is of great value. Yoga texts say that living beings have a purpose for which they exist. In Sanskrit, this purpose is called dharma. In Japanese, the Japanese call it ikigai, the Chinese Tao, Egyptians mat. When we forget our dharma, we become miserable and unproductive. When a wheel's axle inches out of alignment, there's friction, noise, a bumpy ride, sometimes even fire. When we similarly stray from our purpose, we develop feelings of tension, unease, and fear. Psychologists call this misalignment cognitive dissonance. For example, people who smoke are usually aware that it's bad for them, but they smoke anyway. Some people think that of themselves as animal lovers, but eat meat. In these cases, and many more, people feel a moral conflict between their knowledge or beliefs and their actions. Srila Prabhupada writes, disturbance is due to want of an ultimate goal. Bhagavad Gita 2.66 purport. When we are disturbed, we are anxious and less productive. When we are aligned with our purpose, we act with integrity and vigor. Both our mental and physical health improve and we become more effective. When we know our purpose, we proceed with confidence.
Yeah, Vedi, you want to continue from here?
In his novel, The Brothers Karamazov, Fyodor Dostoevsky writes, "The mystery of human existence lies not in just staying alive, but in finding something to live for. Working merely to stay alive is boring. Working for a cause that one is willing to die for is thrilling." Doctor Martin Luther King Jr. stated, "Life is not worth living until you have found something worth dying for." The great philosopher Aristotle urges people to analyze the purpose for which they exist. An anonymous author summarizes Aristotle's thoughts about purpose on the blog The Great Conversation. Aristotle argues that the ultimate purpose for humans will be something that we desire for the sake of itself, never for the sake of anything else. For example, imagine a curious adolescent who ceaselessly asks why to every answer you provide him. Why are you going to school? To earn a degree. Why do you want a degree? I need a degree to obtain employment. Why do you want a job? I need a job so that I can earn money to buy the things I need, such as a house, clothes, food, etc. Why do you need all that? Those things will make me happy. Why do you want to be happy? At this point, you realize there is no further answer. You want to be happy for the sake of being happy and not for the sake of something else. Should I keep going?
Yeah, please complete this.
Okay. What is my purpose is the most important question we humans can ask. People who are conscious of why they are doing what they are doing know which path to follow and thus make better choices on life's journey. As humans, we can choose to dedicate our lives to whatever we wish. Such independence, however, carries the weight of responsibility for our choices. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Any comments here? Any thoughts anyone has? Why do we exist? That's a topic we're covering.
Just a point that just came to my mind while reading. So in this material world to survive successfully, we need the intelligence and steady mind. And that intelligence and steady mind comes only once we are fully connected. And how we are fully connected? When we are connected to the super soul. So like in my own realization and reading through various scriptures, we know for a fact that until and unless we connect with Supreme Lord, it is not possible to gain that intelligence or steady mind that we need for ourselves to run in this material world, as well as crossing some of the obstacles and then finally reach to the spiritual sky. Just that point came to my mind, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Yeah, alignment like the screw. When the screw is in the machine, there's a great purpose. Dharma is also the word. When the screw is out of the machine, who cares about the screw? It's not even worth $1, right? But in the machine, it's serving a very vital purpose. So knowing our dharma and how we fit with the universal plan, God's plan. And I really like this here. I took a screenshot and shared also again. When we are aligned with the purpose, someone can reread this. Athar, you want to read?
Sure, Prabhuji. When we are aligned with our purpose, we act with integrity and vigor. Both our mental and physical health improve, and we become more effective. When we know our purpose, we proceed with confidence.
Mhm. Maybe we can put on our desk somewhere or remind ourselves, what is my purpose? It will only help us to improve our physical, mental, spiritual health. You'll be more productive, right? You'll be confident. It's very, very important. Okay, back to the book and the last example. Also, this is also very finding something which we can die for. Not just like merely, okay, I want to get a job, I want to have a family, I want to have kids, and what, right? Studies, college. I mean, this cycle, ultimately, what is that higher purpose? Okay, so, and also one important thing, if you know it, tomorrow you'll be writers, you'll be writing blogs, articles. See how the writers write this, the end, the end of a paragraph or a topic leads to the beginning of the other. Are you noticing this pattern? Or have you noticed this pattern? Like one thought is completed and towards the end, Prabhu is talking about some responsibility, right? Humans carry responsibility, right? So it ends this topic here, and then the next topic is more like this is a common theme across writing. Is everyone following this? Quite important when you're delivering a, whether you're writing or speaking, like one thought leads to the other, right? Okay. Yes, Vinita, I want to read this.
Human responsibility. In the third chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna explains that the essence of human responsibility is yagya, sacrifice, the act of giving up something valuable to someone important or worthy. Because we receive a multitude of gifts from our source, we must reciprocate in gratitude by giving something back. By giving, we grow. For example, those who dedicate the results of their work to the Supreme, perhaps giving a portion of what they earn or volunteering for a spiritual cause, are performing yagya. Conversely, those who work solely for themselves take on a cosmic debt called karma, which obligates the debtor to work hard. Those who take from nature without acknowledging the source of their bounty are compared to thieves who can never be happy. Thus, giving is our duty because we are part of the complete whole. The complete whole is known by many names: Krishna, Allah, Yahweh, the Supreme. Ultimately, all these names refer to the same divine source from whom everything emanates. The whole of existence is compared to a tree. By yagya, we water the root of this tree and thereby nourish ourselves, who are like its branches and leaves. Those who neglect the root and instead water the leaves and branches in an attempt to satisfy themselves independently actually fail to nourish themselves. Krishna therefore remarks, "My dear Arjuna, living only for the satisfaction of the senses, a person lives in vain." Hare Krishna.
So we all owe debt, right? And if we don't repay that, we are thieves, right? If someone borrows something and then they never return back, they are thieves, right? Correct? Now you may say, well, I didn't borrow, right? But third, did you borrow something from someone?
No, Prabhuji.
No. But actually, we are. Aren't we borrowing from nature, the sunlight? Aren't we borrowing from Mother Earth, the resources? Knowingly, unknowingly, so many, when we were born in the hospitals, nurses care for us, parents are caring for us. They're paying for our, food bill, medical bill, and whatnot, right? So we are borrowing. So we have the teachers, the class teachers, the spiritual teachers. We are borrowing. We are learning. They're giving us oft, and especially those who give selflessly. They're even very noble. Hmm. So we are taking rinam in Sanskrit, or we are indebted, right? Because we have a debt. So we are indebted to them. We have borrowed. We have taken, the rain falls, the sunlight, and so we have debt to the devatas, to the mothers, the father, the pitras, the forefathers, the gurus, etc., etc. So we must give something back. And what's the best way? To water the root. And that root is Krishna, who is the cause of all causes. If we don't give that back, we are thieves. And it will only cause more harm. We think, no, 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 I can steal, but we'll be caught because we may say, oh, I didn't, but we'll be caught. In giving is our duty, right? So if we don't do, we'll be caught in the cosmic dance. And how can we complete that? By taking shelter of Krishna and serving him. Marry your purpose. I was going to read this. Lakshay, Prabhu.
The marry your purpose, right, Prabhu?
Yes.
Marry your purpose. Yoga texts describe a phenomenon called niyama graha, a Sanskrit term with two meanings. The first is to be divorced from one's purpose. Have you ever practiced something or followed a rule or routine just for the sake of doing it without knowing the purpose behind it? This is called niyama graha. Also, asking what's my purpose gives us focus and clarity, brings meaning to our actions, and helps us to ignore distractions. The second meaning of niyama graha is to stop trying altogether. To advance in any discipline, one must have systematic practice. Those who stop practicing make no advancement. In other words, one should practice regularly, but one should also be clear on the purpose of the practice. Marrying our purpose means that we have a clear idea why we exist and actively work toward realizing that purpose.
Interesting, right? Have a clear idea why we exist and actively work. Each word is important towards realizing that purpose. What does this picture teach us? Any thoughts here? Yes, Vidhi, please.
Krishna's holding like the entire universe in his hands.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of just means that everything is resting upon him as he's the supreme creator.
Everything is resting upon him. Does it click a verse in your mind? You're all scholars. From chapter 7, Sutre, Mani, Gana, please tell. Anyone know? Sutre, Mani, Gana, Eva? As the pearls are strung around the thread. You all memorized it, right? You remember you did that verse? Yes, Vidhi?
Mata paritram nanyat kinchidasti dhananjaya may sarvam idam prutam sutre manigana iva.
Very nice. So everything is resting upon me, Krishna says, as pearls are strung around the sutra or thread. Very good. It also shows how Krishna is the supreme controller. So the cosmic debt, ultimately, whom do we owe the most debt? Is the Supreme Lord. And how do we pay it? Can we pay through money? Can we pay through our intelligence? No, ultimately, we pay through the way He would like. And how He would like, He says, become my devotee. And why He wants us to become His devotee? Not for His good, but for our good. If we do so, we'll be happy. We'll be healthy, happy, and successfully go back home. Any thoughts, comments or move further? Okay, let's move further. Okay, okay, who wants to read this down? Write down your priorities. Yes, Atar.
To determine your purpose in life, it can help to first list and order your priorities. When the COVID-19 pandemic began in 2020, I took the time to sit in a distraction-free setting and write down my priorities. This gave me a renewed sense of purpose. In her book, The Top 5 Regrets of the Dying, author Bronnie Ware points out that people tend to move blithely through life without considering what's important until they get some indication that death is coming. She recommends that we not wait until the end of life to decide what is most important to us. Otherwise, as the title of her book suggests, we will be full of regrets. Try this. Set aside some time to sit down with a pen and paper and ask yourself, what are my priorities? At the top of the page, write, what is most important to me? And then start, wait, and then just start brainstorming. You don't have to worry about coming up with perfect answers. Just take the time to write down whatever comes to your mind. Once you've come up with an initial list, mull it over, process it, and then try reading it to mentors, close friends, and trusted family members. Ask them, what do you think? The more you churn your priorities, thinking them over and discussing with others, the clearer they become and the more you'll feel a fixity of purpose. In my experience, when people hear such a list, they feel inspired and want to make their own lists. When I sent a copy of my priorities to a scholarly friend, for instance, he wrote back a commentary on each one, mentioning philosophical parallels given by ancient thinkers. Other friends sent back a list of their own. The physical process of writing is a means of taking something that is subtle, and a thought or idea and making it tangible, giving it shape. Studies demonstrate how powerful and transformative it is to write down your goals and intentions, and how this simple act can bring you into greater alignment with those goals. A 2015 study conducted by the Dominican University of California found out that those who wrote down their goals were far more likely to succeed than those who either did not have goals or did not solidify them by writing them down. As soon as you identify your priorities and write them down, you immediately magically start to conceive all the goals aligned with your values, which will help you identify your life's purpose. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Atar. Cool. So what's the topic we read? Okay, someone remembers. Okay, Avani.
We read about like writing down like your priorities and how that can like really help you with like making you achieve those actual priorities.
Interesting, right? How many of you agree with that? Just think having something in the head is one thing, but when you write it down, it's totally different, right? Makes a big difference. Gives clarity, gives focus, removes confusion. Often we underestimate the power of writing. But writing does help. You know, there is scientifically research also like how journaling, how writing goals is so helpful. Okay, so I would encourage everyone to write, as Prabhu described, the steps to do that, because ultimately, what's the use of reading something when we don't apply it, or at least try to apply it? So try this. Try this. I'm just repeating Prabhu's words. Try this, right? So not like immediately, because it's not like a quick 2-minute thing. And don't overthink also, right? So have a first list, have an initial list. Priorities can change with time, right? And if trusted friends, trusted mentors, close family members, discuss with them, right? So I would encourage everyone to go through this process. It will give a lot of clarity. What is important for you in life? Writing down priorities, and take it as if as if it means to you. It means something. I'm trying to find a picture which talks about the difference. Quickly open that. Writing versus thinking. Okay, basically you're able to organize your thoughts, your ideas, get focus, clarity, and a lot of benefits in short. Any other thoughts here? Okay, let's read the next topic. Who has not read? Anyone who's not read wants to read?
I can read, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes, please, Mataji.
The magic of asking. As soon as we sincerely ask, what is my purpose? Will be provided the intelligence to answer the question. There is a divine plan for every one of us. The only reason we may not be aware of it is that we are not asking this question. When we start asking the right questions and making them a part of our daily practice and meditation, we will become aware of a guiding inner voice. In the Bible, Eliza is reassured during a disaster by the still small voice within. Prabhupada writes, every living being has his intelligence, and this intelligence, being the direction of some higher authority, is just like a father giving direction to his son. The higher authority who resides within each individual living being is the super self. By acknowledging the super self, we also see and appreciate the serendipity in the events of our lives. This is one of the ironclad principles mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Our sincerity is infallibly effective. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So the Supreme Will help us when we ask this right question. God is there to help us. Krishna is there, the super self, the supreme soul, Paramatma. So he's there to help us, guide us like a caring father. Okay. Let's read the next. Yes, Ansh, want to read? Karina, want to read? Stay hungry and humble. Sincerity creates a hunger to know the truth and to improve ourselves. Just as hungrier we are for food, the more we can eat and digest. Similarly, the keener we are to know, the more open we are to receive answers and guidance from within. The Saint Queen Kunti advises, therefore, that we keep ourselves in the state of spiritual hunger called akinchana. Akinchana means to feel oneself a humble beginner, devoid of entitlement and helplessly dependent on the higher power. Literally, akinchana means without anything. The akinchana mind is always ready for more. Queen Kunti said, if you think you are smart, beautiful, wealthy, or prestigious, then you are already full. Srila Prabhupada writes in the Bhagavad Gita, purport 12.8 to 12. Knowledge begins with humility. We can begin to help ourselves as soon as we sincerely admit that we need help. When we see that we are completely helpless, we are in the perfect position to be sincere. In other words, if we are sincerely humble and ask for direction, we will be given the intelligence to unlock the answers that bring out the highest purpose of life. Hare Krishna. Any thoughts here? Stay hungry, stay humble. Right? The Kinchana mindset from the Bhagavatam. When we know, we know. When we think we know everything, then basically nothing else, we can know because we think we know everything, right? Already full. So we should always be humble, right? The electricity goes from high, like potential to low potential. Water flows from high potential to low potential. Everything flows from top down. So Guru is here, the sages. We are here, the seeker. If we think I know better, then it cannot flow like this. Okay. Anyone who has not read wants to read? Okay, who wants to go for seconds? Second servings. Okay, Zoom user, go ahead. Ansh, want to read? Please unmute.
Yeah, yes. Axiomatic truth and aligned purpose. Problem solving in geometry starts with a premise. We can't solve a problem that says given nothing, solve for x. And as Aristotle noted, and thus we base our hypothesis on axiomatic truth. Our thought process will be discussed to infinite regress. We won't be able to get anywhere. Of course, it's best if premises are true. The premise or axiom in yoga teachings is that we are non-material entities. That is, we are categorically different from matter. A fact we can see through it called cruelty and frustration. We feel as we deal with matter. I often feel this frustration. For example, I want to stay healthy and young, so I exercise every day and I'm careful about what I carry. Dates on my body parts are approaching, and I'm taking notes. My problem starts when I think I am my body. My problem is solved when I apply axiomatic of the figures. Consciousness is different from matter. We are conscious entities inhabiting temporary.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Ansh. Okay. Vinita, you can complete this.
The yogic teachings explain that consciousness and inert matter are different categories of energy. If we overlook this and become infatuated with the ever-changing forms of matter, we remain unsatisfied, because the happiness we get from material interactions has a beginning and an end. The same teachings say that material happiness is a misnomer because material desire is by definition unfulfillable. Trying to satisfy it is like trying to taste sweetness by licking the glass on the outside of a bottle of honey. Should I keep going?
Yeah, you can till here.
The wisdom literatures make a study of happiness. Real happiness does not come and go, but is everlasting. We taste the highest degree of happiness through yagya, sacrifice. We are happier when we give rather than take. We feel most satisfied when our service is selfless, motivated by love, not by greed. When we direct our attention to the substantive rather than the trivial and align ourselves with our spiritual purpose, the wisdom literatures therefore present us with an axiomatic truth. We are not material, we are spiritual entities not part of the material world.
Thank you. Any thoughts here in this? What did we just read? What topic we read? Avni is present. So try to be present here, right? What we just read about. Yes, Avni, please tell.
We read about axiomatic truths.
Has everyone heard this word, axiomatic truth? Who's going to explain a little bit, so for our benefit?
So, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, I have seen this word for the Vedas, that the Vedas are axiomatic truth because it has come directly from Supreme Personality of Godhead. So basically, he said like one shloka to Brahmaji, and then Brahmaji further created more shlokas and then created the one Ved. And then further that one Ved was divided into four. So whatever is there in the Vedas, it's truth. Like there is no question about it.
Yeah, unquestionable. Okay, very good. Yes, Vinita.
Hare Krishna, I was gonna like axiomatic, it's like self-evident, like automatic, like that 2 + 2 is 4. There's no changing that fact. Like that same way we know that we're the material, like we're not the material bodies and that we're the soul.
Very nice. It's like that's not going to change. Like 2 + 2 is 4 in India, 2 + 2 is 4 in US, 2 + 2 is 4 in go to Europe, right? It's unchangeable, unquestionable. Someone say, I don't accept. Okay, that's his problem. It's right. If we don't accept it, it's still not going to change, right? No, I came from a different country. Oh, it's only applicable till you're in 5th grade. No, sorry. It's applicable even in like 100 years of life. Or same with the Vedas, Vedavakya. It doesn't change. Modern science may say take this medicine and that medicine, and this is right or that's right. A lot of things keep changing, but Bhagavad Gita doesn't change. Vedavakya, so the axiomatic truth. Okay. And what's the key? That we are not the body. So trying to be happy in material world is basically like a fallacy there. It's a misnomer. You're just licking the bottle outside. And the last part was try to give, not just seek, right? Giving happiness gives happiness. Has anyone felt that in your lives? We are happier when we give rather than we take. Has anyone experienced that? right? When you give something, whether it's prasadam, whether you give a book, whether you help someone in some way, you teach someone, let's say math or science, you feel happy. Especially when it's our selfless. You're not saying, hey, I'm giving you a plate of prasad, give me $10. That's business, right? Um, Motivated by love, devotion, not by greed, right? Okay, let's see. Okay, let's complete this. We'll go a little, maybe a few minutes extra, but let's complete this first question. Question, okay, anyone who has not read wants to read? Okay. Vedi, you can read this part.
Guruji, can I read, please?
Oh, sure, Prabhuji, please.
Where are we starting? Questions by the sages.
Yes.
Hare Krishna. Questions by the sages. We each have an individual purpose in life, our dharma or duty. We utilize our unique gifts and talents in service. But we also all share an ultimate purpose. The Bhagavatam 1.1.9 opens with a group of sages gathered at a tranquil forest called Naimisharanya to ask questions about the ultimate purpose of life. The sages ask potent questions to the wisest among them, Sut Goswami. One of the questions of the sage asked is, what is the absolute and ultimate good for everyone, without exception? Sut Goswami's answer is that the universal dharma, the highest purpose for everyone, is to attain loving connection and services to our original divine source, Krishna, who is love personified. Such service, when unselfish and uninterrupted, brings about complete self satisfaction. 1.2.6 And how can we align ourselves with this universal dharma? By asking the next of the four questions.
Thank you
Key
so much.
takeaways.
Wow.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Thank you,
Okay,
Prabhuji.
Prabhuji.
So, quite straightforward here. Bhagavatam begins with this topic. They're not asking, hey, I have a mosquito bite, can you help me out? Or my car broke down, can you help me out? I mean, those questions are okay, we have to fix things, right? Or, my guests are coming, what should I cook for lunch or dinner tonight? No, they're asking question, what is the ultimate good for everyone without exception? Not short term, right? This is real question. So key takeaways, base your life on the right axiom. What's the axiom here? The fundamental teaching of Bhagavad Gita. We are not the body, we're the spirit soul. Mm. The supreme purpose that we all share is, in case you are confused, in case we think my purpose is to get a job in Google, my purpose is to get a scholarship. I mean, those are short-term, very, very short-term material aspects. We're not saying that's wrong, right? But the real purpose is to revive our loving connection with the original divine source, and that's Krishna. Be akinchana. That's a key takeaway also. Humble and who's going to complete that? What did we read? Humble and hungry. Maintain a beginner's mindset. I'm a learner. I'm work in progress. I live to be corrected. I have areas for improvement. I'm not perfect. We are happier when we give rather than when we take. Material happiness is a misnomer. Why is it a misnomer? Because material desire is, by definition, unfulfillable. That is so true. We think I want this much money. Even if someone gets that, one will not be happy. Then new goal, new goal, new goal. Yes, the 99 Club story we have read. Same with name, fame, prestige, right? These are all temporary. So I would encourage everyone to write maybe more takeaways, right? Which you liked. And the last thing is journal prompt. Set a timer for 10 minutes, write down any responses that come to mind when you ask yourself, what are my priorities? Basically, it's same as what we kind of discussed. Then go through your list, put in terms of the importance, review that list when you have priorities in order, make your list visible. So first, like do a draft one, draft two, kind of like a keep refining it. But once you have it clear, these are my key priorities, right? Make it visible where you see it quite often. Repeat this periodically. Periodically could be once in 6 months, once in a year, once in 2 years, right? Reset. Because priorities could change, circumstances could change, our minds could change, or like you may go to college next year, then you may have different priorities and stuff. You need to continuously adjust, right? Because life is a journey, so we need to adjust. Okay, so this completes up the first part. We'll next class or reading, we'll do the question 2. Okay, but I would really encourage everyone to go through this. So write down your key takeaways from this or whatever we have read, and write down this your priorities. Yeah, basically this is same as the journaling part, right? Anything before we pause for today? Comments, thoughts, corrections?
Prabhuji, can I add one thing? I know I was not sitting and listening all the time, but I came through when Anita Mataji was mentioning in order to, I think the thing was that I thought was like, she said the intelligence and the steady mind will come when we connect to the super soul. And recently I had one lecture where we say that yes, we have to connect to the super soul, but the means will be the guru. And they gave a nice example of like, cell phone and a service provider, say like Verizon or AT&T or whoever. But then to connect the cell phone to the service provider, we need the monthly plan. And that monthly plan is the guru. So that's what I thought I'll just add here, that we just heard that our goal is to revive our relationship with the Supreme Personality and become his servant. But then how that will happen? That will only happen through the Guru, because Guru ke mahima, Guru ke karuna ke bina kuch hoga nahi. We know there is a Verizon shop, there is a cell phone, nice iPhone. Unless we have the monthly plan going on, we will never be able to connect to anyone. The same example they gave us to make us understand the value of Guru. I just wanted to add that for Mr.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for sharing that. अंश क्या कर रहा है? Any other comments, Ansh or anyone? आ गया सब समझ ठीक से? लिखोगे अब? नहीं समझ आया? ऊपर से चला गया? चलो कोई बात नहीं. Thank you again. We'll reconnect not tomorrow, because we'll reconnect on Tuesday then. Okay, but we covered the 2 sessions. We're at a good pace. We'll complete in about 3 more weeks. We'll be able to complete. Today was session 4, so in about 10 sessions we'll be able to complete this book. The goal is not to complete the book, but to take something in our heart, and apply those. Even if we can apply a few things, that'll be a great success. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna. Prabhupada ki jai. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha. Kripasindubhya eva cha. Pitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo. Hari Bol.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
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 Hare